I look about 80% like the first love of the capital's golden boy. Everyone told me to make money as her stand-in. I refused and took this face everywhere to stir up trouble on purpose. Sure enough, the prince couldn't stand it and would toss me 5 million every time. I don't allow you to live stream with her face. Vulgar. Don't use her face to book male models. Who said you could use her face to seduce me? Later, the prince became my shadow. Wherever I went, he went. Even bath time and bedtime had to be together. Then his first love came back to China and did a staged fall at the airport. He just gave a cold snort. Dropped the act. A woman with that face could never be that delicate. You fake, innocent bitch. I'd always thought I was a painfully average college girl, flat-chested and flat everywhere else. But lately, weird things kept happening. Whatever side gig I picked up, men in black bodyguard types would track me down, hand me a fat envelope of cash, and say, "Miss Isabel, this job is disgraceful. Please take the money and quit immediately." At first, I was cautious, so nervous taking the money. I felt like I had to pee every 5 minutes. Then it happened so often I got bold, even taking 5 or 6 part-time jobs in a single day on purpose. The envelopes piled up. In barely half a month, I'd pocketed nearly $500,000. One day, I was waiting outside the convenience store, where I worked for the men in black to show up with cash, when a heavily made-up woman passed, eyes wide. Jessica? I thought she'd mistaken me for Fan Bingbing, and was secretly thrilled until she spat her next line. "Oh, so you're that clumsy stand-in everyone's talking about. You did yourself up like this to climb into Jason's bed? Please." After hearing the whole story, I had to admit her spit landed true. Turns out the guy paying me off was Jason, heir to one of Beijing's top families. He was also our campus heartthrob, tall and stupidly handsome. The kind that makes both men and women want to sleep with him. But he was icy cold and never spoke to girls. If a girl managed even one sentence with him, the school forum would pin her post for 3 months of worship. Rumor had it he had a first love overseas named Jessica, and I happened to look a lot like her, about 80%, especially with long, straight black hair. When my 3 roommates found out, they screamed in unison. They say the prince wants a stand-in for his first love, $2 million a month. Oh my God, Isabel, you're about to be rich. Sleep with the prince and get paid? I'm dying of envy. They weren't wrong. That very night, men in black blocked the dorm entrance. "Miss Isabel, our young master would like to see you. Please come with us." I shot back. "How much do you make a month? If you won't say, I'll tell him you tried to assault me." They panicked and caved. With a young master's personal detail, 1.5 million a month, I fell into thought. Being the stand-in paid only 2 million. And I'd still have to sleep with him, keep him happy, live by his moods. If he got annoyed, that 2 million could vanish, and I'd be reduced to licking his boots. Hard work, zero security. I decided to go for broke. I grabbed every envelope I'd collected, came back down, and hurled them at the bodyguard's face. "Go tell Jason this. I, Isabel, don't take charity. He can take his filthy money back." Eyes red, tears streaming. I stormed back to the dorm, looking absolutely wrecked. I wasn't faking it. It hurt like hell after all. That was $500,000. But as the saying goes, you can't catch a wolf without risking the bait. The night after I threw the money, I deliberately applied to be a KTV hostess. In a place that upscale, the clientele were all rich second-gens flunkies of the prince. Sure enough, when I showed up in a private room, their faces went pale. Not only did they not dare book me, they scrambled to pull out their phones and spread the word. Half an hour later, I was summoned to the most expensive suite. The moment I walked in, I saw a tall, lean figure sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed. A chiseled profile cut into the dim light. That had to be the famous prince. I cleared my throat and purred. "Hello, I'm No. 37 Jessica. How would you like me to serve you?" He shot to his feet. "You think you deserve that name too?" Long legs eating the space, he came up to me and pinched my chin between elegant fingers. Up close, I finally saw him clearly. High bridge of the nose, deep-set eyes, razor-sharp features, the kind of face that screams trouble. But however fierce he looked, he'd only just turned 20. Unlike me, a kid from the sticks who was working fields at 6 or 7 and grew up fast, Jason was born with a silver spoon and had never taken a real beating from life. He probably wouldn't grow up till 30. I'm warning you, you don't get to use her face for this again. You don't get to tarnish her image. You know the consequences. Before he could finish, I slapped his hand away. Oh? And how do you know this tarnishes her image? What if she likes it? His thick brows knit, then he snorted. Nonsense. She'd never be a karaoke girl. Nothing's absolute. Do you even know her? I do. If you knew her, you'd have won her already. So why haven't you? Well? Jason went silent. I folded my arms. Besides, I look so much like her, it proves we share genes, same ancestors. Pretty sure I know her better than you. He stared at me coldly. I stared right back. I'm 80% her. When you glare at me like that, aren't you glaring at her? And you call this love? His lips pressed into a thin line. After a few seconds, he looked away. His voice went hard. If you know her so well, come with me now. We'll talk somewhere else. I didn't move. I'm working. I'm broke. How am I supposed to live? Isn't your first love overseas hustling to survive too? 5 minutes later, Jason wired me 5 million. Note: voluntary gift. See? A stand-in gets 2 million a month. I doubled that in one night. Fortune really does favor the ruthless. It's not like I was just swindling Jason. I put in the work on Jessica. I added her on WeChat, posing as a bird's nest seller, and found she's pretty vain and money-obsessed, though she blocks Jason from her luxury posts. I also figured out why he never got her. In his eyes, Jessica was a pure girl who despised vulgar money, so he never spent a dime on her. But to Jessica, Jason was still a backup, rich and handsome. Why not keep him on the hook? I couldn't help feeling a little sorry for him. So I went all in on loving money. Every time he sought me out, I named an outrageous price. 500,000 just to meet. 1 million if we talked more than 3 hours. Want me to quit a gig? 5 million to start. The prince really did have money, but he wasn't stupid. Sometimes, when he'd paid too much, he would frown and stare me down. Isabel, why do I get the feeling you're a cold-blooded con artist? My heart skipped a beat, but I shot back. Do I look like someone fragile to you? And you think your precious first love is fragile? Jason thought for a moment. I guess so. My brother says she's delicate as a reed. Always coughing. I couldn't take it anymore, and pulled up my Moments feed to show him Jessica, pulling all-nighters at nightclubs, downing drinks, and sitting on men's laps. The more he scrolled, the darker his face got. He flung my phone aside. This has to be photoshopped. She'd never sit on a man's lap. That ticked me off. I stood up and plopped right onto his lap, looping my arms around his neck. See? If I can sit, she can sit. Jason stiffened, the sharp V of his collarbones tensing under his shirt. I couldn't help swallowing, so fresh, so juicy, and loaded with cash. How could Jessica not treasure this? Get off! His Adam's apple bobbed, voice gone hoarse. Isabel, don't push me into killing you. I leaned in until my lips were almost brushing his. Jason's handsome face flushed, and a wicked impulse hit me. I blew softly into his ear. I thought he'd shove cash at me and tell me to scram. But the next second, his hand clamped the back of my head, and something cool pressed against my lips. It took me 10 seconds to realize it was Jason's mouth. He was kissing me. My heart raced. I couldn't decide whether to stick my tongue out or just pucker up. Damn it. I'd spent my whole life chasing money, 19 years old, and this was my first time doing anything like this with a man. After a few seconds' hesitation, I gave his lips a quick lick, returning the favor. But Jason went rigid, abruptly pulling away. You're not allowed to use her face to do something like licking a man. Angry as he was, My gaze dropped and landed on a very visible swell in his pants. Jason noticed too, glaring at me, jaw tight, his expression shifting several times. He grabbed for his jacket to cover himself, but I was faster, snapping a photo with my phone. "Isabel!" He lunged to grab it, but I struck first. "You claim you love her, but your body's reaction is pretty damn honest. Tell me, if I sent this to her, would she dump you for not measuring up?" I raised my voice. In a fight, volume is half the battle. Jason's face was black as thunder, each word bitten out. "What do you mean, not measuring up? Spell it out!" I held up my pinky. He exploded, even furious. The prince was sinfully handsome enough to make a girl's knees go weak. "Isabel, are you blind? Take another look right now." His big hand pushed my head down. I caught his wrist instead. "I'm a proper young lady who's never even had a boyfriend. You think looking at this won't scar me for life?" Jason glared, and without a second thought, transferred me $2 million on the spot. The moment it went through, his phone lit up with a call from the Anti-Fraud Bureau. He hung up and said coldly, "Shall we continue?" Now I not only saw everything in high def, I was forced to record precise measurements. I had to admit the capital's crown prince was top tier. Excellent build, gorgeous to look at, even smelled fresh. Between the view and the payout, I was in heaven. Jason, on the other hand, didn't look happy. Lips pressed tight, like he was holding something back. The moment I said, "Super pink, super pretty," he stormed out, slamming the door. The slam was loud enough to jolt my conscience briefly. I felt I'd gone a bit too far. The guy was already miserable, duped by a fake innocent green tea act, and now I'd swindled both his money and his modesty. I sat at home, reflecting deeply for all of 15 seconds, before a WeChat ping came from Jason. "Come to my place." Having just ogled him and even squeezed my thighs together in secret, I was in my post-pleasure cooldown and didn't feel like moving. I was about to refuse, hadn't even finished typing, when bam, 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 5 transfers of 100 grand each came through. I shot up like a spring and made it to his place at record speed. On the way, I checked the situation. Jessica had just announced her new relationship on Moments, posting couple pics with her new man. Sure enough, when I got to the villa, Jason was sitting by the garden pool with 2 glasses of wine on a low table. I walked over, brimming with disappointment in him. "What's the point of drinking away your sorrows? If you want to win her back, you need tactics." Jason glanced at me, then looked away a little too quickly. "I just had a nap and dreamed. Dreamed about her," I snapped. Sliding onto his lap, I looped my arms around his neck, snapped a cheek kiss selfie, and posted it on his Moments visible to Jessica only. Jason opened his mouth, but I pressed a finger to my lips. "Shh, I bet within 60 seconds, she'll phone." Before I could finish, his phone pinged. "Jessica, Jason, are you busy?" Jason shot me a surprised look. I smirked. "Excited?" He stayed expressionless. Yeah, right, like he wasn't thrilled his first love had messaged him. But I didn't let him reply. Straight guys are no match for manipulative green tea girls. I studied Jason's usual tone and typed back in his style. Out right now. "Jessica, you don't post on Moments often. Was that your girlfriend using your phone? The photo's great makes me feel so inferior. So jealous. Pout. Wow. Sharp move. No wonder she was the prince's first love. She had skills." Jason was standing beside me. I looked up to find him staring at my face, gaze oddly intent. "What are you looking at? Check your first love's reply." Jason dropped his eyes. I'm looking." I typed. "You don't like me. Why do you care about my girlfriend?" "Jessica." "Jason, don't say that. You know I'm different with you than with anyone else." "Different how?" "Jessica. Different in every way. My current boyfriend's just more mature and experienced than you. In everything else, he can't compare." I typed and deleted, just to show the typing indicator, baiting her to say more. Sure enough, she wrapped it up neatly. I'm off to yoga class. For you, I'll keep myself healthy and in shape. Jason, when I come back, I'll explain everything to you, okay? Damn. A top-tier siren if I ever saw one. Respect, I asked Jason. So, how do you feel after reading that? He frowned. What's her yoga class got to do with me? Me. She's saying she's working on herself for you. But I don't like yoga. Me. I tried again. Did you two even talk much before? Hardly. I scrolled up, sure enough. Just a handful of lines. No matter what Jessica said, Jason never picked up the thread. A straight guy and a green tea girl on WeChat? Forget it, they're doomed. I analyzed their chats and took a look at Jessica's current boyfriend, a gym rat player type. Finally, I gave Jason my verdict. She's dated a ton of guys, but 89.6631, 8% of them are gym dudes. That means she likes him big, skilled, and adventurous. You've got the size any bigger and it'd be illegal. What you're missing is skill and variety. So, how many women have you slept with? I'll assess your technique. When I asked that last question, Jason's face darkened for some reason. He glared at me fiercely. What? You think you know a lot about that? He shot back coldly. How many have you slept with? I froze. No way could I tell him I'd never slept with a man. What if he thought I was unqualified and fired me? I cleared my throat. Not many. 5, I guess. His face went even darker. He shot to his feet so fast the table rattled. I jumped. What are you doing? Was he mad I'd slept with too few? That I lacked experience? He sneered. Nothing. Oh, I've slept with twice as many as you 10, I blurted. No way! You reacted just from me licking your lips, like you were about to go off any second. You look seriously underexperienced. Suddenly, Jason bent down. Before I could react, he wrapped an arm around my waist and lifted me up. He held me against his chest and, as I looked up in surprise, he lowered his head and kissed me hard. I instinctively tried to push him away, but he pinned my wrists behind me, pressing me against the wall. His mouth was forceful, urgent, the kiss deep and heavy. I was nearly kissed to tears, head spinning, heart racing, whimpering, when I heard him pant against my ear. Compared to your 5 exes, am I kissing you better? I snapped. No, you're the worst kisser. Your skills in bed must be worse. Probably 3 seconds and done. Turns out, you can't provoke a man like that. Jason scooped me up in his arms. I thrashed like a fish, but his strength was insane. He carried me easily up to the 3rd floor and tossed me onto his bed. I rolled twice, trying to crawl away, but he grabbed my ankle and dragged me back. When my jeans were yanked down to my knees, I realized he was serious. I pressed both hands to his chest. Wait, Jason, we can't. This is what? With one hand, Jason stripped off his t-shirt. Broad, pale chest, lean waist, Captain America's ass. In that instant, 4 words flashed through my mind. Prime male specimen. If I missed this, I might never see quality like this again. I swallowed. Lust was drowning out my reason. When Jason leaned down to kiss me again, I used my last shred of clarity to shout, "This costs extra." At first, I was uncomfortable. Jason really didn't seem like someone who'd been with 10 women. I'd never seen him so clumsy, sweating all over, messing up again and again. 10, huh? More like 10 fingers, I snapped. He smirked coldly. 5? More like 5 movies you've watched. I bit him in anger. He kissed me again. We wrestled on the bed like we were trying to kill each other. In the end, I lost, pinned down and whimpering for mercy. Through the shaking and rocking, I drifted in and out of sleep, not even sure how I finally passed out. I only remembered biting Jason's shoulder all over with teeth marks, but he didn't get angry. When I cried at the end, he cupped my face and soothed me gently. I figured it was just because I looked like Jessica. That was why he could be so indulgent. Otherwise, why would he keep going until morning, never letting me go? That's how Jason and I started living together. But I wasn't stupid. I made him sign an agreement. He gave me 2 prime retail stores in the busiest district, each bringing in over 300 a month in rent. My job was to train him on how to date women, how to make them happy, and to stop saying those painfully straight guy things. I also had to train him in variety and rate his performance daily. At first, I only gave him a C. Jason wasn't happy, his face cold as ever. What did I do wrong? Too long, I said earnestly. You need balance, give and take. Women are soft. You'll rub me raw, and you'll do the same to your Jessica. His face stayed cold. But that night, there was a noticeable change. His rating began to climb. After a month, I'd given him an A. After 2 months, he was at S level. After our morning workout, I couldn't help remarking, practice really does make perfect. You just have to be willing to try. This is one of life's most valuable lessons. I had no idea what I'd said wrong. Jason had been massaging my legs, but suddenly, his face went cold. Isabel, am I just your practice book? What nonsense. Don't belittle yourself like that. I glared at him. You're clearly my high-limit ATM. Before I could finish, he tackled me, tickling me until I admitted he was important to me, addicted to playing the stand-in. Childish. Truth is, I was pretty childish too. Honestly, living with Jason had been fun. My parents divorced when I was little. Each remarried, and neither wanted me tagging along. I grew up in my aunt's house, but in middle school my uncle made advances at me, which soured my aunt toward me. I moved out in my last year of junior high and had lived alone ever since. I'd never known what home felt like. No one had ever asked what time I'd be home, what I wanted for dinner, or told me I wasn't dressed warmly enough. Now Jason took all that on. I thought living together would mean serving him after all. With all the money I'd taken from him, it seemed only fair. But in reality, he not only cooked like a pro, he made sure I went to bed and got up early, took me to work out, taught me English and German, celebrated all sorts of holidays with me, and showered me with gifts. I praised him every day, calling him the perfect boyfriend. I found out he loved flattery. Whenever I complimented him, the corners of his lips would lift, ever so slightly. He looked so handsome when he smiled like the male leads in the romance novels I read in middle and high school. Back then, they were all called CEOs. Now the trend was prince. But one thing never changed. CEOs and princes all had a first love. And now, this one had come back to claim what was hers. I wasn't just imagining things about Jessica. The day she returned, she posted on Moments, "My white horse prince, I'm going to ride you myself." The photo was of her at the airport, dressed head to toe in teal, with the letters QY embroidered over her chest. The hint couldn't be more obvious. I forwarded it to Jason. Beep beep. Do you think this outfit looks good? He replied instantly. Looks good. You look good in anything. What do you want for dinner? I'll have Mrs. Wang buy the ingredients. I was busy with my internship yesterday. Tonight I want to do beep beep beep. I was furious. Look at the picture properly. Who's wearing that outfit? It's your goddess. Jason didn't reply, but the top of the chat kept showing, the other person is typing. Oh, I got it. He was using my own trick, baiting me into speaking first. After all, with his first love back, this stand-in should know when to bow out. I thought for a moment, then typed, Mr. Jason, your goddess Jessica is back. You've prepared so long. I believe you'll win her heart. Hee hee. Thank you, Mr. Jason, for 4 months and 19 days of employment and care. Isabel will stop bothering you now. I've already had Mrs. Wang pack up my things and send them across town. Wishing you an early victory with your first love. Win every battle. Go, Jason, go. I read it over a few times before hitting send. On Jason's side, the typing indicator was still on. What the hell? Was it because we'd been living together for months, and classmates had seen us everywhere together, so he didn't want people to think he was a jerk? That wouldn't do. He'd been so generous to me. I couldn't let his reputation take a hit. I immediately found a male friend, paid him a sum, and posted a relationship announcement with him on my Moments. Many classmates sent me congratulations. Even Jessica gave me a like, but Jason still didn't reply. At least the typing indicator at the top of the chat was finally gone. I tested the waters by sending him a couple photo with my new boyfriend. Mr. Jason, I'm in love. Wishing you and your goddess Jessica a sweet romance soon. 10 minutes later, I discovered Jason had deleted me. That night, I heard from classmates that Jessica's return to campus had caused a stir, and she'd even invited Jason to dance with her at a party. I didn't know why, but I felt a little sad. Mostly, though, I was glad. He was finally going to succeed. All his money, effort, and even dedicating himself to me wouldn't be for nothing. A week later, I stopped thinking about Jason and applied to study abroad. Despite working countless part-time jobs, my grades were good, so my application went smoothly. In my first month overseas, I felt a bit lonely, often thinking of Jason late at night. I secretly stalked Jessica's Moments, but she hadn't posted any intimate photos with Jason or made anything official. Could things not be going well? Impossible. Jason was perfect after my training. Who wouldn't want a man like that? I probed classmates for news. They said that day Jessica had pretended to fall, looking teary-eyed and pitiful as she waited for Jason to pick her up. Everyone thought they were about to get together, but Jason had coldly sneered. Cut the act. A woman with that face could never be that delicate. You green tea bitch. Jessica had looked stunned and run off crying. I was furious, like seeing a student I'd trained punch the proctor during the college entrance exam. That night, my stomach twisted in knots, and I kept vomiting. I realized it was acute gastroenteritis. No help for it. Jason had spoiled my stomach, and foreign food was awful. My cooking was terrible too. I threw on a coat and dragged myself downstairs, planning to head to the ER. An ambulance was too expensive, so I clutched my stomach, looking around, before finally squatting by the roadside to throw up. Suddenly, a tall figure appeared before me. I looked up to see Jason's handsome face. Only one thought crossed my mind. Abroad really is a hellhole. The smell's so bad I'm hallucinating. It wasn't until Jason bent down and lifted me into his arms that I realized it wasn't a hallucination. The prince was as extravagant as ever, booking a luxury ward so I could lie there on an IV. I slept fitfully most of the night. When I woke, Jason was propping his head on his hand by my bed. The moment I stirred, he opened his eyes. Awake? Still feel sick? He reached over to check my forehead, then called in the doctor. Finally, he said, "You're fine now. Don't worry, once this bottle's done, we'll go home." I actually wanted to tell him to leave in case Jessica found out. But selfishly, I didn't say it. I wanted to drag it out until he took me home so I wouldn't look so pitiful. I felt awful about myself, my mood sinking even more. I stayed silent the whole way back. At my apartment door, I finally said, thanks. I won't invite you in. Go do your thing." Jason's face went instantly dark. "Your boyfriend's inside?" He looked into my place, expressionless. Oh yeah. Then why didn't he take you to the hospital last night when you had gastroenteritis?" He gave a cold laugh. Is he crippled? Blind? Why did it feel like he was mocking me? I scratched my head. Why do you have to make me say it so directly? Aren't you afraid Jessica will be upset if she finds out? We live together. Quite a few classmates know. Jason stood there without moving, his brows furrowed deep. Why do you keep bringing her up? After a pause, his voice turned stiff. She and I don't have anything now. So he still hadn't gotten her? Thinking of the stupid thing he'd done, my anger flared. Why did you have to call her a green tea bitch? And in public? Jason, that was too much, you know. She's had plenty of boyfriends abroad. Being a bit green tea isn't surprising. If you like her that much, why give up so easily? You spent so much on her, sure. Maybe money's nothing to you, but aren't you afraid you'll regret it later? It's not easy to really like someone when you're young. We're still in college. Once you're out in the real world, you might never feel this way again. After yelling, I regretted it. What right did I have to tell him he was wrong? In his love story, I was just the hired sidekick. Jason said nothing. The silence was crushing. Sorry. I lowered my head. I didn't mean it like that. I just hope you get what you want. Still no reply. I grew even more embarrassed, trying to close the door. Well, thanks for bringing me back. But before I could turn away, a big hand clamped around my wrist. His grip was strong, almost painful. Isabel. I thought he was angry and quickly said, "I'm really sorry, Jason. I must be out of it from being sick. What if I told you Jason's Adam's apple bobbed?" His voice slow but clear. "That the one I like isn't her. It's you." I froze. My mind went blank. I didn't even remember how I shoved Jason away and ran inside. I slammed and locked the door. He knocked from outside, repeating that it was me he liked. How could I believe that? Jessica was his first love. I ran to my room and lay down. If I fell asleep, he'd leave. Words said in the heat of the moment weren't trustworthy. I hid under the covers, head and all, hating myself inside. I figured my messed up childhood had damaged me too much. I couldn't believe anyone would truly like me. There had to be some benefit involved. Maybe Jason just thought I felt good in bed. After all, we'd slept together for months. A bit of reluctance and confusion was normal. I drifted off, even dreaming of Jason saying he liked me. I woke with my heart pounding. Staring blankly at the ceiling, I swore to myself, if Jason ever came again, I would never open the door. So what if he was the capital's golden prince? What's the big deal? I soon learned he really was something else, because he didn't need me to open the door at all. He'd paid off my roommate and moved in himself. Bold as you please. He bought piles of stuff, TV, game console, an enormous bed. As the delivery guys brought everything in, the more I saw, the angrier I got. "Are you a spoiled rich kid? What, turning this place into some luxury villa?" Jason stared at me. "Be my girlfriend, and you can turn this place into the White House if you want." As if I'd believe that. If I so much as talked to him again, I was a dog. Turns out, I really was a dog. My nose was too sharp locked in my room or not. I could still smell Jason cooking in the kitchen. "Ah! Sichuan-style fish head! Ah! Hunan-style stir-fried pork! Ah! Cantonese durian puffs!" I wrestled with myself for 3.47 seconds before bursting out the door. In the dining room, Jason had already laid out all the dishes. Seeing me march out, he said, "Wash up and eat." I glared at him and sat down to dig in. "Slow down, you want gastroenteritis again?" He picked food into my bowl. I glared at him over my rice. He thought for a moment, then crossed one long leg over the other, tapping the table with slender fingers. "Even eating, my woman is beautiful. Remember, woman smile only for me." It was a domineering CEO line I'd taught him before. I glared at him. He glared back. Then we both burst out laughing. After the meal, I slumped on the sofa, burping. Jason washed the dishes, then brought me a grapefruit tea to help digestion. My eyes drifted to his long, lean legs and perky butt under his lounge pants. Suddenly I asked, "Jason, when you say you like me, do you mean it?" His reply was instant. "Yeah, I mean it." I said, "But you used to like Jessica so much. Wasn't she your first love?" Jason pressed his lips together. "I was immature then." I pressed, "You can't even admit you liked her. With no backbone, how can I trust you like me?" "It's not that I can't admit it." He looked away, his voice stiff, awkward, and tense. "I thought I liked her a lot, but after being with you, I realized that's not what liking someone is. I want to know if you're with another man. I get upset, jealous. I hate it when you're not around. I want to wait for you to come home. I want to be with you every second. These past few months living with you, I've been so happy. I wish it could be like this forever. My fault for not being brave enough. I should have told you sooner. I was afraid you'd run if I scared you. I thought if I made it a deal, you'd stay by my side. When you said you were leaving, I wanted so badly to keep you, to tell you I like you, to be with you, but I didn't know how to say it. I was afraid you wouldn't believe me, afraid you'd ignore me forever. I typed and deleted over and over. And then you announced a new boyfriend. I was furious, deleted you in anger, then regretted it and wanted to add you back, but didn't want to see lovey-dovey photos on your moments. Isabel, give me a chance. Let me prove myself. Test me, okay? I didn't answer right away. My rational side told me not to pick apart these details. Everyone has a past. But if two people are really going to be together, they should clear every little knot in their hearts, otherwise they'll blow up later. After all, we only began because of Jessica. And I happened to look so much like her. So, a few days later, I asked Jason again, how did you and Jessica meet? We used to be neighbors. When did you start thinking you liked her? He pressed his lips thin, clearly reluctant to answer. I goaded him. Fine. You just think I look like her. You're playing that stand-in game. Zongda 1-1. 1-1 like you. Not just the emperor. Oh no, not just the prince is wrong. I'm even more wrong. These months of love and time, all misplaced. Jason couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed me and kissed me hard, biting out at my ear. Little liar, you win. Then he told me everything. And when he was done, I understood why he hadn't wanted to say it. I wished my ears had never heard it. Jason said that when he was 16, his brother Jack, the previous crown prince of Beijing's elite, accidentally slept with a girl at a hotel. The next day, to find her, his brother put a photo of the tattoo on her bare back on a giant outdoor screen, launching a citywide search. When they found her, they learned she was already engaged to their third uncle. That sparked a love triangle between his brother, his uncle, and the girl, stirring up a citywide scandal and trending online every day. In the end, his brother didn't win the beauty's heart. He's held Buddhist prayer beads ever since, praying day and night for his buried first love. And because his brother was so famous, 16-year-old Jason thought having a first love was the coolest thing ever. That's what a real man was. So Jason found one too. Back then, hands in his pockets trying to look cool, he never paid much attention to girls. Jessica lived next door and often fed stray cats. So he thought, such a kind girl. She must be my first love. So he started pursuing her. In reality, that meant having his underlings deliver breakfast a few times. Then the whole school knew. People said, the prince's first love is Jessica. The prince sat on the rooftop for 3 hours for his first love. The prince bears a scar in his heart that can never heal. Jason listened and thought he was so cool, so manly. Being tortured by love was what deep, mature men experienced, even though he was only 17. He thought he was very mature. He had no idea Jessica was stringing him along. He only thought she was kind and pure after all she fed stray cats. He thought he was so in love, staying up at night, when in fact he was just gaming and drinking. Jessica kept tossing him hooks, but he was too dense to catch them. Once, she told him, Jason, I have such a headache. Can you come keep me company? Jason immediately called 120. Jessica opened the door in a pretty nightdress and was whisked away by the paramedics. Later, Jessica went abroad. Jason didn't chase after her, because according to popular rumor, first loves always go abroad. I listened with a grave face and asked only one thing. Then why isn't your brother still the crown prince? He may have lost in love, but he's still alive. Jason said, because everyone online now calls him the Beijing Buddhist prince. The prince's spot was open, so I took it. Great. That's on me for asking. I laughed at Jason over that for half a year. At first he was mad whenever I brought it up. He kissed me to shut me up. Sometimes he punished me in bed, trying new things, handstands, L shapes, and so on. But once we were off the bed, what I said went. I was the tigress type. If I said chives, he wouldn't dare buy cauliflower. After I finished my studies abroad, Jason and I both joined the Smith Group. Originally, his brother was supposed to take over, but 2 months ago, still unsatisfied with his prayer beads, at the wedding of that girl and their third uncle, his brother shaved his head and became a monk. I actually wanted to meet his third uncle, and the girl, well, third aunt now. I begged Jason to take me. He agreed. We arranged to meet somewhere. When I arrived, flowers were spread out as far as I could see. Same old routine. But when Jason dropped to one knee and held out a ring, my eyes still stung. His vow was simple, just, "I love you," plus a pile of shares, properties, and cash. He said he knew I only liked that stuff. So could I take him along with the fortune he'd work hard to serve me in every way? That's my man, he knows me. I snatched the ring and put it on myself, then grabbed the other one, bent down, and slipped it onto his finger. When he looked up, I leaned in, looped my arms around his neck, and kissed him hard. It was always him pouncing on me for a kiss. I couldn't let him do all the work. I whispered, "Husband, please take care of me from now on." As soon as I said it, my skirt was lifted. Jason's breathing grew heavier in my ear. I nipped at his earlobe, blowing playfully. "Husband, since it's our wedding night, got any new tricks?" Jason cupped the back of my head, chuckling against my lips. "Yeah, with you, there'll be something new for a lifetime."